You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Mexico alpine skier Olympian Rodolfo Dickson. How are you doing today?
I am super tired because I'm in school right now, but I'm happy to be interviewed by you. Yeah.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started into the sport of alpine skiing?
So I guess my first winter after being adopted into Canada, that definitely was the stepping stone to my winter passion. Yeah, just spending all my time in the snow, like swimming in the snow, doing that stuff. It was like super amazing to be, yeah, just totally immersed by this new concept of frozen water. And then something else that kind of made it more imminent was watching famous skiers on TV with my dad, and I got to see Bodie Miller go down a hill very fast, and that was really amazing. And seeing the FIS broadcast was definitely something I saw myself doing one day. It was like, yeah, I could do that. It's like that looks really fun, and that was definitely, yeah.
How was that like, obviously, getting started at such a young age of 6?
Ooh, it was quite interesting. I have to admit, I don't think my parents knew I was gonna do that. They just put me into a daycare for skiing over at Tremblant in Quebec. But yeah, they saw that I was fast. The instructor said he's a bit crazy, and I tended to be more open to people on the hill. So that was really important for them to see me grow as a person. So yeah, it was amazing starting at 6.
How was that like, obviously, getting to train in the US, Canada, and even Switzerland?
I'm so lucky to travel the world and do what I love, which is definitely one of the best things ever. Canada is home to like just all the coaches that made me who I am today. They really inspire me to be just improve every day. It's as simple as that. And when I got to start training in the US, that's when I actually started to connect with my peers more. So my first time traveling to the US was just, yeah, I started connecting with my friends, and that was definitely an interesting moment for me. I was like, wow, yeah, these people are really passionate and they don't want to hurt me. And that's like, wow, that's cool. Going to Switzerland, first time overseas, that was, yeah, that was cool because I learned what tough times are like. I learned what the hardships are, and that was nice. And then going to the UK or in Austria, I learned my limits, and that's the best part about it. That's all I can say about that because I pushed myself pretty hard over there.
What was that feeling like when you did make the Mexico national team to represent alpine skiing?
Yeah, um, I think the best moment about that would be meeting Carlos Perneta, the head of the Ski Federation, and yeah, I met him in Montreal, and seeing that guy, meeting him, I realized like, oh, this is a really important person, and I felt like I was totally part of the team now. Now it's, I think it was just meeting him was definitely one of the most inspiring moments.
How was that experience like, going internationally to compete?
Yeah, the road leading into 2015 season was full of emotions. Like, it was very, very slow when I started skiing. In 2010 with my team, I was the slowest person on the hill, and every single run leading into every single run training and racing, I fell a lot. And so, leading into 2015, it was like, wow, like it's a lot of emotion. You're not skiing the best, but you're trying as hard as you can. I was lucky enough to have a coach from Italy. He told me to get on blizzard skis, and then I started skiing a little more confident, and I could hold the edge better. And it was cool because then, yeah, I started training harder. just putting more hours in the gym. And, we did so much work together. And when 2015 season hit, it was like, yeah, we were prepared. My coach and I, we prepared for it and we did really well that year. So it was awesome.
What was it like, obviously, getting a dual citizenship to become and represent Team Mexico along with Team Canada?
It's radical. I'd say being Canadian is awesome. It's such a cool vibe. We're always really fun, happy, and a little bit crazy. And being able to represent the country that like I was born in and the way I look, and it made me feel more myself. And it was never a hard decision to ski for Mexico, which is awesome. It was just immediate, like, oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm gonna be ski for Mexico. But it's just like super lucky to be able to have both countries kind of helping you out. Yeah.
Of course, when you became a professional, how did you know that you wanted to ski for Team Mexico versus saying and skiing for Team Canada?
Ooh, I guess just making a name out there for your country is probably one of the biggest motivators. I thought it'd be way cooler to represent a country. I think it'd be way cooler if Mexico won a race. I think that was the main thing. Like if I won a race as Canadian, it's like, yeah, that's cool. But as a Mexican, it's like, oh, that's even better. That's way cooler. So, it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, individually it's a little bit tough, but yeah, I mean, I just thought it'd be probably the best option for me. So
What was that feeling like when you first put on that Team Mexico jersey and got to represent the Mexico flag?
ooh, uh yeah, that's actually the dream come true. It's pretty cool. When I was in Switzerland with my team as a young kid, basically, you would see the World Cup athletes and you see these professional guys and they show up with like all their gear, all the sponsors, and they were like the coolest people ever. And you're sitting there with your like little C's and just like, dude, this guy's amazing. So when I finally got gear and I put it on and I'm traveling and it's like the coolest thing ever, and you're kind of just like in this zone, like, oh my gosh, this is literally, it's like you're feeling both sides of the story there, and it's this, yeah, that's a really good feeling when you get the skiing uniform for the first time.
How's that feeling like going down the super G slopes?
Super G slopes. Yeah, I mean the Super G slopes are fast. It actually kind of feels more slow-mo than anything. So the faster you go, the slower your movement is. So for me, when I go down it, it's really, really cool because it's like, before I go down, it's like super, super hype and you're really excited and you're doing push-ups and doing everything you can to get ready. And you're in the gate and then you go, it's like everything's it's slow-mo, it's moving faster, but you're also moving slower. So it's super, super amazing. It's kind of like, yeah, nothing can really, yeah, you can't really compare it to anything. It's slow motion.
Of course, on competition day, do you have any rituals that you do to prepare for going down the slopes?
Um, that's the best question because you do everything the same as training. So rituals, let's say something like, I try to feel my body where I hold stress. Just feel it somewhere. It's like, okay, that's what it is. I need to just focus in that area. Good breathing. Talking to my coach, just show him just like I'm super confident. It's super awesome. It's just I'm having so much fun because you show them that they get the vibe, and then yeah, everything's cool. The whole team's having a fun time then.
How is that training like preparing for the Olympics and making the Olympic team in 2020?
Oh man. So I'm lucky to have Carlos Bernetta in my corner because I didn't know I was going to ski when in 2019. Yeah, 2020 was a big year. It was full of a lot of tough times, and the decision to actually go do it was actually after a car crash, and that was cool. Because it was weird being in like such a state of mind where you're total survival and you're on the side of the road, and then you're like, what am I gonna do? And you have all these thoughts. And you're like, what what is it? Because what's worth it? And it's all this stuff. Um, yeah, it was cool because at that moment when I got in the paramedics, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ski in the Olympics. I told the paramedic that, and they were just like, okay, buddy, your concussion. um, but yeah, and then deciding at that moment that I worked really, really hard, and we did a really good job. I think my family, Carlos, that was really cool because the training for it was just ridiculous. Like I did 5 workouts a day, and I was pushing it pretty good. Waking up like 3 to 4 a.m., just doing like a couple workouts before 9, and studying, and then doing more workouts. It was good. Really, really worth every second of it.
Of course, after that moment, what was that like, knowing that your hard work paid off and you found out that you made the Olympic team to go to Beijing?
Yeah, meant the world to me. You kind of know you will be selected because you put in the work, and months before you're like, well, I'm the best guy, so I mean it's gonna happen. And and try not to sound too kind of egotistic, but yeah, it's really cool because it's never official until they give you that letter. And when you get that letter, it's like it puts chills in your body, and it's hard not to go party after, right? So but you have to stay focused because you're still going.
What was that feeling like when you did get that letter and now you got to represent not just you, but your family in the Olympics?
uh yeah, it's a different feeling. um I'm quite good at kind of pushing emotions aside and just continue working hard. And times I have to recognize it, sit back and kind of say, yeah, you did a good job, Rudy, and you need to recognize that. So I think my family does a good job in telling me that. So yeah, it puts chills in your body. It's really passionate.
What was that feeling like when you got in the mail your gear and you saw the Olympic rings on your gear?
I wanted to share it on Instagram immediately. I want to be like, look at this. Um, it was cool. Yoma, they sent a bunch of stuff, and it was cool. They had all these new shirts and pants, and it's kind of like a prize for all the work you did. And yeah, man, it's so cool because the colors are great, the flag's amazing, and just having like a new bag was like pretty nice.
Of course, when you made the Olympics to go to Beijing, what was it like getting to compete against different countries like Team USA, Canada, and even Tokyo?
Oh man, the Canadian boys are awesome. I've seen them my whole life. They're literally the coolest people ever. Some of them went to my school, like Ronnie Remy. Um, uh, what's his name? Slips my mind now. But yeah, people I've seen my entire life growing up, I see them on the Canadian team. It's like, hey, that's awesome. That's great. And then you get to talk to them for a bit, and you feel more at home. The Americans, they're like, I'm such a kid when I see them. I'm because they have such a cool history from Bodie Miller, Ted Ligety. All these guys are just so amazing. So seeing the Americans there, I'm like, oh my God, they're so cool. Seeing just everyone there is so professional, and it's so opening, and kind of makes you think like, oh, it's the right thing I'm doing. Like sometimes I'm not talking to people, but they're not talking to people either. So they're doing the right thing. It's cool.
Of course, when you got to Beijing and you were in the Olympic Village, what was that like, getting to meet some of those cool people from Team Canada and even Team USA from different countries and different sports?
Yeah, I think someone who really was most apparent to me was definitely the Canadian team dude on the hockey team. So he was on the junior team, and he was like 18 or something, right? And like I was talking to him, and he was just so grateful to be there. And I was like, dude, you're on the Canadian team and you're at the Olympics. Like you have such a good career ahead of you. And he's like, yeah, I guess that's true. Like he was just so humble about it. So it's very humbling for you because these people are just like, they just so happy to be there, even though they're like the best in the world.
Of course, were there anybody in the village that you saw that you were like, oh my God, I looked up to you as a kid?
Oh my God. Um, there's a Polish girl named Marina, and I think she's one of the best technical skiers on the World Cup. So when I saw her, like I always wanted to talk to her. And when I saw her, I just couldn't move. I was like, so yeah, she was cool. And then Shaun White, of course.
Of course, what was that feeling like going down the slopes in the Olympic stage of them all?
it was it was cool. It's quite interesting because it feels the same way that you train. So you're kind of just having the same cues in your head. You're like, get early, move, hands forward. You kind of have this like kind of flow. But the main difference is like when you start getting tired, you kind of hear like your parents, you kind of hear like the fans and your friends. You're like, whoa, what the? So it's not distracting, but it's really interesting because it's like you just start doing the movement because they're telling you to. It's like really, really cool.
How was that experience like obviously going to the Olympics and not having your family there due to COVID and stuff?
Yeah, it's that's challenging. I mean, I like having them around, but you don't really think about it too much, which is not the best thing to say, but I think if they were at least in the same country or the same continent, I think it might be nicer because I couldn't even call them really. It was like, although my mom would always answer, it doesn't matter what time it is. But yeah, it's challenging because you can't just call your friends or family after your run. So yeah, it was not easy.
Who are some of the influential people in your career that have shaped you into the alpine skier that you are today?
Ooh, Dietmar, my Italian coach, Sammy, another coach, Erg, a feller coach. You got Bodie Miller, Tommy Ford, Ronnie Remy, Conrad Pretty. Who else do we have? My mother, my father, those guys, like everyone like that has just pushed me so much.
What is that feeling like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
That was funny. I had that at World Championships. Had a dude want to get some autographs, and yeah, it's pretty funny because you practice it all the time. You never think you're going to use it, and then you go to do it, and you're like, I think that's my name, and it's really cool. It's a humbling feeling. You never get used to it though. I don't think, right?
What was that feeling like for you to add OLY behind your last name?
That's cool. I really enjoyed when they did that, and I was, oh, that's really nice because then you can distinguish, who's who, and you can recognize and connect to with other Olympians. It felt great. I really like having that distinction, and I didn't really notice the first time around in Pyeongchang, but after China, you really start to kind of embrace it. You're like, yeah, yeah, totally, yeah. This is 4 years of my life, and you send it. So having that there is really important.
How was that feeling like receiving your first Olympic ring and having the Mexico flag on it and the Olympic rings on it?
Ooh, um, yeah. I mean, having anything with your country's name on it is one of the most important things that you can ever have. I think having pride is something I don't think we're losing too much, but for me, I was like, I didn't really have it when I was a kid because I had no idea like who I was, right? But being able to ski for the country, you get these rings for it. It's just, yeah, they really give you this accomplishment for yourself. It's cool.
What was it like getting to live out your Olympic dream and making the Olympics and the biggest stage?
Oh, yeah, getting to live it out. That's surreal. It's like it doesn't even feel real because you write it down when you're a kid. You literally write it down on a piece of paper, and you think like, nah, that's pretty normal. Everyone writes that. Not everyone writes that, and then you get that, like you go there and you do it. It's like, oh, okay, that's really amazing. That's like I have to stay focused. That's the main goal. But no, it's super. It's kind of it's hard to explain. There's no words that can really explain that feeling.
What was that like coming back home and getting to share that experience at the Olympics?
Ooh, yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's really cool. I'm very like inside my head sometimes, so I don't really share too much. But when you get to go ski with the teams that you ski with in your past, and these kids and the other skiers like, hey, we watched it on TV. It's just like, really? Like, no way. That's really cool. And so it kind of inspires you to just like work harder and show them work harder. And if they can get to your level, past your level, and then you're like, yes, good work. So it's really sharing it's important, but it's really just continuing that motivational standard kind of.
What are some of the things that you learned from those legends that were at the Olympics, and what was that like getting to ski next to those legends?
Awesome. It was so cool. You kind of see what they do. You see the warm up. They're just normal people. They're super normal, and you see that the Norwegian team. They're kind of they're not kiddish, but they're really there just having a good time with each other, and that was really cool because you think like they're so professional. They don't do anything fun, but no, they're just like they're literally just having fun. That's the best part.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of alpine skiing?
Ooh, let's see. So I would like to see, I don't know. So future alpine skiing for me, I want to continue to ski, continue to race, inspire people around me. That's cool. But I really want to follow in the footsteps of some of the coaches and directors and start to be a part of a school and a system that inspires younger athletes. And if I can do that with proper, bringing in mental health awareness and bringing in my take on outdoor adventures, that's super important. So you have to kind of keep expanding the ski industry more.
What advice would you give those college athletes that are looking to compete in alpine skiing?
When something bad happens, or what we call an error, right? It's usually following like something really important that you changed. And so like I see a lot of people, they get down on like a mistake, or they fall inside and they're like, ah, shit, or they missed a gate. It's like, no, you were probably doing something really, really good before it, but because it was so good, you couldn't handle the speed, or you got in your head and it's just like, oh no. And then there was the error, but you need to just like kind of just focus on, hey, what was really good before that? That's so important.
What advice would you give those future people that are looking to get into the sport of alpine skiing professionally?
Ooh, so if you want to get into the sport of alpine skiing, you got to aim for such a cool high level of professionalism, and just trust your ability in the entire way. It's not easy, and not everyone can be a World Cup skier, but if you aim for it, it really treats you well. The everyone in it, everyone around, supportive, it treats you well, and it gets you to where you want to go, wherever that is.
What advice would you give those Olympians that are competing for the first time or even multiple times?
give advice. Let's see. Yeah. Well, first I just ask how they're doing. Like, hey, how are you? And if they look nervous, I just ask, did you prepare for this moment? What did you do to prepare? If they can answer that, then they're good to go. So just relax and have fun, right?
What advice would you give those people that are looking to compete nationally and represent their country, whether it's Team USA, Canada, or even Mexico?
Ooh, yeah, you got to enjoy it. If you bring a great attitude, it treats you very well. So just be super passionate about it, and keep looking towards the next best thing. Keep expanding yourself, keep getting better. So yeah, it's worth every second of it.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Oh yeah, you just type in Rodolfo Dickson. It's not the easiest name to type. It's Rodolfo Dickson, Dickson. Just type that on Instagram. You'll probably see me. Yeah, if not, you just go support some cool skiing videos, and just like love the whole ski industry, and just go skiing. That's so important.
Thank you again, Rodolfo Dickson, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Team Mexico Alpine Skiing.
Thanks, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Rodolfo Dickson, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Team Mexico.
So cool.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.